How are you supposed to know what to wear for class? How do you know what to put on them? And where do you go for inspiration? What's the number one most important thing to keep in mind when you're choosing dance attire?
A lot of complications at these events with limited space to change. There's people everywhere. You don't know anything about these people. There's quick changes. What are your tips? Hello, everybody. Welcome back to season 5 of Beyond the Steps, presented by Apolla Performance Wear and Turning Point Dance Creations. Today, we're talking about dance attire for each style. How do we dress for class? This is a big one. And there's so many nuances to take into consideration. We're really excited to talk about this topic today. Melissa, tell everybody who we have back with us today.
We have Amira Azimi and Casey Day, hosts of a weekly podcast called Two Dance Moms for competitive dance parents, where they share their own wins and fails as dance moms, as well as tips and tricks that they've learned along the way. The goal of this show is to help dance parents find a little more fun and a little less stress at their dancer's next competition. Definitely check it out. You can find it anywhere where you find podcasts. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining us again this season.
Thanks for having us.
We're really excited to be here again.
Yes, we love having you on the show. You both are parent competitive dancers as well as other athletes. There are so many styles and genres of dance. How are you supposed to know what to wear for class? How do you know what to put on them, and where do you go for inspiration?
It's kind of crazy because we have enough on our plates, right? With paying for competitions, making it to practices, schedules, to like throw in on top of that what your dancer's gonna wear or what your athlete's gonna wear. It seems like who can deal with that, but it actually does matter, I think, because we want, in particular, our dancers to feel confident. And I think what matters most is that they feel and look good. So that is kind of, if you use that as the basis, I think that that will um drive you, and then you can understand why it's important to, put thought into what your dancer is wearing. I think a lot of the trends in dancewear in terms of inspiration, I think they kind of trickle down. I think it generally starts from like music and like artists, famous artists, and will kind of become more applicable down to like influencers in dance in particular. There's a lot of very famous dancers that are advanced and have done well or are like influencers. And I think that there's a lot of trends that start in dancewear there. I let my dancer choose a lot. She's very creative. She knows what she likes. She's got a good eye, but she does look to some of the obvious like big music artists and sees what they're doing. We follow some socials, some influencers that she likes where she gets inspiration. But for all the parents out there that maybe don't have access or their dancers are not particularly interested in anyone online, I think it's nice to find a brand that you feel fits the lifestyle and the look and maybe also the fit of your dancer, and follow them, go on their website, and you can get a lot of inspiration and ideas from what they're posting. And that's kind of a good starting point, I think.
You
So
mentioned budget. So is it are there places to go and get the stuff that are more budget friendly versus like having to drop, these kids grow so fast at this age and they grow out of things and they want new things. And is there a place to get like gently used dancewear that you know of? I mean, we can talk about that a little later, but just curious.
I think that I've sold stuff on Poshmark, and I think that that can be a great place if there's particular brands that your dancers identified with that they like, the fit works for them, the lifestyle. You can find like gently used and even brand new stuff there. But you also can just sometimes Target has some great stuff that you can try on your dancer, and Old Navy will have some great active wear. I would just say that it probably doesn't last as long as one of the particular dancewear brands. So it maybe will last your dancer like a month or so,
Mm,
month or 2.
absolutely not. I heard you say, oh, looking at the influencers online and doing this. It's also important to remember that they're taking a picture. Sure. Jimmy could meet to class. So the straps and the flowy and that's probably not gonna work for you in your conditioning class. So we also wanna keep in mind the actual function of things and what they look like because 'cause I'm constantly telling kids, "Please stop picking at that."
We're gonna talk later in the episode too about because this is very different. Like what you wear to class in your studio is gonna be very different than what you wear to a convention class versus what you wear to go to a competition and get ready, to prep for a competition. So very different things. And we'll get into that in the second segment. But yeah, there's lots to consider for sure.
What's the number one most important thing to keep in mind when you're choosing dance attire?
It's definitely the fit. How well do those clothes fit your dancer? And particularly, their bodies are growing and changing, and everybody's body is very different.
Yeah.
And like my dancer, she is short torso, long leg. And so what fits her is very different for being a 14-year-old because her torso and even just her rib cage is very small. So we have to really size down and even adjust like a lot of straps because it's just the shape of her body. And having a good fit is just going to make or break the whole situation when you're choosing, be it a brand or a type of dancewear. It has to fit. Number one.
That's gotta be so hard because I will say, just in all the years of working with so many girls, young girls especially, I'm not saying this doesn't apply to boys, but I would say more so to girls. And just having my own daughter now who's 8, that is the hardest thing for me to we always want to promote a healthy body image, but you also have to understand your body to know what works for you. And that's the hardest thing to teach a young lady, right? Is like what just I love that outfit and I would love to wear that, but when I put it on me, it doesn't look like how it looks on that other person because I have a totally different body type. How do you navigate that? And how do you teach that sort of like awareness and still, make sure that you're promoting healthy body confidence?
It's a lot about individuality and honoring that within each person and being okay to talk about it. I don't think we need to shy away from it, but it's like, this is who you are, and that's wonderful.
Yeah,
And this is who this person is, and that's wonderful. It's just everybody's body is
right.
different. And clarifying that from early on, and then you don't feel weird when you're noticing that your body, fits different than other people's. And my daughter laughs all the time, especially right now. It's very trendy in high school. Everything style wise circles back around. And the style that is circled back around, Lord help us, is low rise jeans and crop tops. I know, right?
And tennis skirts.
It's back. And so my daughter, being a short torso, is like, things don't look crop on her because she's like, my torso is so short. She's like, Mom, I have to wear my pants like insanely low and cropped really high to have any sort of like, what's it cute
Yeah.
style wise. And it just doesn't. So we've talked a lot about it. And it's like, it's not a bad thing. It's just how you are, and, it's the reality of everybody's body is different. And when you talk about it openly from early on, it's not, doesn't have to be like a negative thing.
Mhm.
I love
Yeah.
that.
That was the story of my life. I have very wide hips. I'm curvy, like hourglass curvy, and somebody could put something on and it would look totally different. I'm giving a whole different message when I put it on versus when you put it on.
True.
Yeah, and you're like, "Whoa, that's not the message I was trying to, try."
These are talking that shouldn't be talking.
There's sneak in there, right? Exactly. And the beauty of it is, I think, is letting them know that there's styles made for everybody. It's not just clothes are for this type of body. There are clothes for everybody and experimenting with that. And the same thing with costuming. What is it that we want to dive into? What's in your dance bag for each major genre?
Ooh, I'll kick it off. Contemporary and lyrical. I think stylistically right now, it's a lot of bra top and studio pant. It's usually like a tight and a fitted. This combo, at least for the teen dancers, we're very much exploring contemporary, the loose fitting shirts. It's it's funny. Yeah, trends. And then lyrical, she's sticking to pretty much fitted clothing. She really wants to explore show off her lines. As I said before, short torso, but she's got long legs, which is, quite a gift. So the lyrical, really enjoying the tight fitted clothing for that, and then the looser for contemporary. And then always, again, another trend, socks. And Apolla is always in her bag. She's got the performance sock, which she really enjoys. Either she's going to use that for turning or for just movement. And it's really been something she likes. And we've talked about this on our podcast too, especially like right now, our studio gets really cold. And so it's like,
Yeah.
it's a concern for your feet. Like to go in, it's like your foot is the thing that you are counting on most for that connection to the floor. And if your foot is cold, as a personal trainer, I'm always concerned about cold muscles, and like there's muscles in your feet, and we
Tons.
can't just be
Yeah.
putting them on a cold floor and expecting them to do everything. So, when it's appropriate in the class, either, a Paula shock is definitely, or barefoot, but I don't like the barefoot because I'm always like, your foot.
Well, we got that barefoot style too. So even all you barefoot people, you can wear the jewel and have
Oh,
your
yeah.
toes and your heels exposed, get your calluses on, and still get that arch and ankle support. But do you see for lyrical, do you feel like it's more, I know you mentioned she likes more fitted gear. Do you see more like leggings? Are you seeing like more flowy skirts and dresses, or things that they throw on over their two pieces to like give that flowy vibe like lyrical, or is it more leggings at this point?
In class, at least for like the teen and senior age, it's all leggings, bra tops, loose t-shirts. That is it. No one is in a set. No one is matchy-matchy anymore.
No one's matchy-matchy. Wow.
If you are a teen or a senior, no one is matchy-matchy.
I bet
Everyone
the
is
littles
in
are matchy-matchy. Are the
all the
littles
littles.
matchy? All the littles.
Yes, but not the teens.
My dancer's kind of in between, and she's much less matchy-matchy, but she will do like mismatched colors in a set. So from the same set, but just a different color top, different color bottom. The thing in her group, and I think in the teens too, that I've seen is in contemporary. I've seen an oversized pant, not a hip hop pant, but like a big kind of
Sweatpants.
flowier pant, either a sweatpant or like a poly, kind of a wide leg pant. I've seen that over and over again, and that's my dancer likes to wear that too.
Yeah. And the sweatpants have to be oversized. They cannot be tight. Like my daughter will steal my son's, and then they're like, "Are those mine?" She's like, "Yeah, they fit right."
The no matchy got us because we used to have our teams wear their competition gear, like their jacket and their pants and their sports bras to convention. And they were like, it's a set.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
That's gone. That's out
Yeah,
the window.
that's how.
I
Now we
it.
now we have to go, oh, you just can wear one piece. So you have to wear the NSD sports bra and you can wear anything else you want. But like wearing the legging or the dance pants or whatever and the shirt and the jacket. Oh no. They were like,
The whole ensemble is a no-no. Okay, got it.
For a high school team, when we go to convention, they're told what to wear. It's like you are wearing our school bra and this pant, and everyone matches. And there is a uniform by the day, and all the teams do it. So every school is coming representing in it's like their uniform for any other sport, and everyone is wearing it to very much like represent. But it's a huge shift from the high school to the studio team. Studio team, it's a free for all, other than when you go like on stage for awards. But like for high school, it's you are given an outfit and you are told to wear it and nobody deviates.
Yeah, you don't argue with those high school coaches. Like, so there's something about that high school environment that you're just like, what is the secret over it? Yeah, there no parents questioning that coach. There's no kids questioning that coach. They just go, yes, ma'am. And that's
It's
something
expected.
happens. Something happens.
all right, I want to talk about ballet. And I want to talk about ballet because I'm gonna start this with a brief story. My kids, we require black and pink. So black leotard, pink tights. My kids act like these pink tights are kryptonite. The minute they finish ballet class, they're like rushing to try to get these pink tights off of their body as if they are burning, like they are made of acid. I don't quite understand that.
Let me tell you why, because as somebody who actually did that, I wanted to burn them when I graduated high school. I will tell I just don't think they look good on most I just there's something about that. I will never fully understand it. I get that it's a thing, but I was the one. I was one of those people. And I just why do we have to have all that? Like why? Why?
It's not the most, like, chic look, but I think it's
No,
tradition with ballet. You know,
yeah.
everything is tradition and, form and sort of what has existed, these rules, that have existed, and the formality of it is so different from other styles of dance, and I think that's why you're gonna always see your ballet pink tight. A Leo is always gonna be there, and, you know, some studios have rules about which color you have to wear. Sometimes they're colored by level.
Age.
Yeah, level or age. Some even have rules about whether it can be a long sleeve, and I know we have a solid rule at our studio where you cannot have any prints on your Leo, so you can't get very exciting there. You know, my dancer went through a phase where she wanted to wear, like, a skirt over. I think it looks super cute, or, like, a rolled, active short. But we went to an intensive that was, like, super anti, in ballet, having any layer over because they couldn't properly see your turnout and your form, and I'm all about getting the most lesson out of my money for my dancers, so we no longer wear anything over because 'cause I'm like, "Fix her,
Yeah.
make it the best you can." So we no longer wear a layer, but I know some people do. I still see a lot of dancers, using a layer over their lower half in ballet. But I try and stick a jewel on my jewel Apolla, performance shock on my dancer over her tights under her ballet shoe because she's doing so much ankle and, like, arch work. There's leaping. There's so many instances on that hard floor where I feel like she could get hurt, that this is the place where I say if you need to wear your Apollas, this is the one you need to wear. He has some sort of extra support.
My
Yeah.
dad wears it every time in ballet, whether she's in, flat shoes or point shoes, she's always with the Apollo Jewel, and we talked about this a while ago. We had a lesson, Amira and I, back to back, private lessons with a ballet coach that came in from out of town, and my daughter's point shoes were, like, totally dead, and I was asking a lot of those Apollos. I was really you were like, "Please."
Over time.
There he is. I was like, please keep her together." And we did get new point shoes, and it's a much better situation now.
Yeah, that was a Boston Ballet collab band. That was the intention when we created those. And now it's like all kinds of functions that it has, but that's great to hear that they're helping. That's awesome. I love
Oh,
that.
yeah.
What about hip hop? Yeah. Like I want to know about hip hop. What do you see for
We
hip hop?
Our kids have been told very specifically, "You better not show up to hip hop in anything tight fitted." Like,
Love
it is
that.
not allowed. It is the one class where they're even encouraging, like, wear your hair down, wear it down, or in a ponytail. They don't want a bun. They want you to be able to move, and the clothes have to be baggy. So they want a t-shirt typically and sweatpants or whatever. Again, it's got to at least be one. Like, they're not going to kick you out of class if you've got at least one baggy item on, but they would prefer you to be in two. But nobody's wearing. They're
I
bringing
couldn't handle, yeah, I couldn't even handle like when my kids would show up for hip hop class in a bun and like their black leotard with some pants thrown over the top. I'd be like, seriously? Like this is the vibe right now. Like, how are you supposed to feel any sort of vibe? Like with your hair in a ballerina bun with a donut. And like it's gotta come down. It's take the bun out, like put some baggy clothes on, look like a hot mess, and then we're there. Like that's what we need to be doing here.
and tennis shoes. You have to wear shoes.
Tennis shoes.
Like,
Yeah, so not those cement sneakers. If I are those even are those in existence anymore? Are those a thing?
They do still make 'em, but
Yeah.
I'm
We
not
don't
seeing them a lot. Yeah.
they have to wear their tennis shoes, and we usually have, like, a competition dance that is a hip hop number, and so they'll wear those shoes in studio, in class to, like, kinda break them in, and so that's always a good idea. I think it's like, wear your sneakers. You gotta they're your actual shoes. Yeah.
Do you have when it comes to the sneakers, is it like this sneaker is the sneaker? Or is it like do you see Vans all the way to like Like, do you see any tennis shoe? Like, or is there like a acceptable shoe that like everybody loves to have?
I mean,
I'm just
Sambas.
curious.
Everybody wants the Sambas. That's like the shoe. So, or what is it? There's another one.
The Air Force One, I think a
Nope.
little, yeah.
There's another.
Yeah, or Dunks or Air Force Ones or yeah.
Air Force Ones have been classic for a while. Cause I couldn't handle like when I would see the Vans come in, I'd be like, cute and everything, but not for
That is not gonna work. Your feet are gonna hurt in those.
Comp teams, our comp hip hop dances, maybe 2 years prior, they were wearing Converse, and they're, like, not great for your feet, and so now they're so we were real no, we were really glad when we switched. We have Sambas for our comp. My daughter has Sambas for her comp hip hop team this year, so that's great. So the only thing I would say kind of differs with tap is you wanna have a sock because the inside of the tap shoe gets gnarly. And my dancer is not always wearing it in the past, but this year I'm really making her wear her sock. Conveniently, she has tumbling after her tap class. So we are wearing our performance Apolla sock. And then she's protected when she's always got a sock on, and then she's protected when she goes directly into tumbling. So that's kind of our sock of choice.
You're just tired. I got a job for you, girl.
From tap to tumble.
Tap to humble and then to hip hop. So the same sock usually stays on. But the thing to keep in mind is that the big flowy lyrical pant or the oversized hip hop pant is tough to wear with your tap shoe because you've got like portions of the pant that could catch on your shoe. So my dancer really loves, even for contemporary, sometimes hip hop, she loves an oversized sweat short. This trend took a little while for me. She liked it first, and I was a little bit like, I don't know. She art. Yes. She took some of her brother's old like gym shorts and sweat shorts, and I was like, I just don't know. And then I saw them at a really big convention from one of our favorite brands, and I was like, okay, we can do these. And so those are ones she will often wear, and they look great for tap because they're not rubbing against the bottom of the shoe and they're kind of a great layer. But those are the two things I would think about for tap. Just make sure you can wear anything. Just make sure you got a sock and something not too long so that it doesn't catch.
I want to add in an area for hip hop and for your baggy short for tap. The tight short underneath is clear. Your booty short or whatever you're wearing. That way, your loose, be it baggy pant or loose basketball short, can kind of sag without like sagging. Actually,
Inappropriate. Yeah. I like that tip. That's great.
and it's cute. What is it? The Nike shorts, the Nike Pro shorts that are real popular. It's like the big band, and then you've got the looser short or sweatpant. So that's like another trend I think is really out there. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one. All right. What about jazz? My kids are wearing pretty much the same thing for lyrical that they're wearing for jazz.
yeah, I think that's what we pretty much have. Our jazz class typically is just the same thing as lyrical and contemporary, depending on how picky the teacher is.
Mhm.
Whether they're comfortable with certain things. We are at a studio that does not require a jazz shoe. So most of our
Barefoot.
almost every dance is barefoot. And so again, it's like the kids are wearing socks, they're wearing Apollas, or they're just wearing like Hanes and slipping all over the floor. Um or they're just barefoot.
So but for performance, are they barefoot for performance?
Yeah, so, like, all turning is done barefoot. So, again, it's, like, one of those things where the jewel is really good because of the calluses. My daughter, like, works very hard to develop her calluses,
This is right.
and so she needs to practice in class to, like, keep it going. That way when she gets on stage, it's not like she's,
Right.
suddenly asked to do, a
Right.
triple barefoot, and she's like, "Oh, I've been doing this with, a turner or something, and now I can't do it." So
Exactly. It's like dancers are the only people that run from the pumice stone in the pedicure. They're like, no,
oh, yeah.
don't do it.
Yeah. Told leave my calluses alone. You're like,
Leave my cat. I cannot tell you how many times I've said that, and the person's like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, no."
yeah.
There's-
Casey and I have had so many interesting conversations. My Casey, my business partner Casey, but I have so many conversations with people about like why why do you want this? Like, why? Why do you have to have the calluses? And, it's just, it is because it's what's always been done, because that's my like badge of honor, and
Flex. You're
it is a flex. It is a flex, and it's never going to go away. And so that is why one of the great things about the jewel is you can literally wear it with any shoe or
Yeah.
barefoot. It's not going to affect the grip that you've got. But in all of these cases, like, we also want them to make sure that they're, thinking about what are they putting on in recovery too? Like, what are they throwing on after? Where the compression socks that, we make are great for that. Throw on a mid calf, a knee high now, or a, cruise style, and your body's going to recover faster, even if you're wearing, shoes without support, or the barefoot style, which doesn't give as much support, but you're getting something. So, but wear those recovery socks, make sure your muscles are recovering. Compression is really great for that, especially Apolla. So, and then ballroom we see a lot of now. I think when I was growing up, and Melissa, tell me if you disagree with this, but like, ballroom was not a thing. Like, that is not something you saw at conventions. That wasn't something that was done in studio unless you were going to a ballroom studio to learn how to take ballroom. Now we're seeing a ton of ballroom training. Do you guys agree?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I love to watch it. I love the outfits. I think it's so great.
It
I
is
think
fun.
one thing people would be interested to find is where your standard color for like a tap shoe is black. Your standard color for ballroom is like a bronze rough color. That is your everyday color. So if you want your dancer to fit in and you're buying her first pair of ballroom shoes, do the bronze, don't do the black.
And
So
it
that's
is
first.
because they want those long lean lines that, you know,
Yeah.
they don't wanna see the cutoff in the leg or anything like that. It's all about the lines and hitting those lines in ballroom. So that is why I like to see that more like nude skin colored.
Yes. Yes, there's different size of heels, so make sure it's something that your dancer is comfortable with. I would start off with a lower heel so that
Low.
they're comfortable and not hurting themselves. This may be a good place to do a compression protection ankle thing because heels for the first time can be difficult to dance in, even a small heel. So I would do that for your dancer. I don't think skirts are a must, but it makes it look so much better. A cute skirt and it's yeah, we were hesitant to buy a ballroom skirt for my dancer and sort of modified one of her short ballet skirts, for the ballroom classes. She would have an intensives and it looked super cute. But we ended up loving it and loving ballroom and finding that we were taking so many classes at conventions and intensives that my dancer has several ballroom skirts from the same brand that she likes. But yeah, I think those are the main two things for ballroom is throw on a skirt, probably a fitted for both items. If even if you don't wear a skirt, you probably need a fitted top, a fitted short so you can see the legs. Throw on the skirt if you're gonna do it, and then your heels.
Mm.
Do you see a lot of briefs anymore with the broad tops or the crop tops? Do you see a lot of briefs being worn, or is it more short?
Only babies.
I disagree. Briefs. Well, I think like a very short 2 inch with a high waist is more popular than a biker short. At least in my dancer's age group.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think the biker shorts we're seeing less of in our age group.
So a brief, you mean more like an underwear cut? Like no, yeah, no, like a leotard kind of cut, but like two pieces. I think in the little kids' rooms, it's like the mini minis,
Yeah.
like maybe, but I don't see it anywhere
No,
else.
my
It's like just the booty shorts.
So considering that conventions are usually held in public places, does class wear differ in the studio from convention wear?
I think it does. Not hugely, but I do think it does. You know, when you're in class every day, you're not likely to be recorded. You're not seeing different people. You're seeing the same kids that are seeing you every day. Your teachers are seeing you. That is your time to really practice, get down and dirty. Maybe break in some items. But at conventions, there's often auditions. So they want to stand out in some form and, some people will argue they should wear bright colors. I see nothing wrong with that. Whereas a dancer may normally be in like black and gray. This would be their opportunity to wear something a little bright. This is also sometimes the place to get noticed. Some conventions have agencies and scholarships. And the way to stand out in class is to feel your best and look your best. So you probably want to put in a little more effort in the sets or items that your dancer is going to wear for class. And so I do think that it does differ. I do also think that my dancer likes to look good in class even every day. So sometimes the stuff I've intended for her to just wear to conventions and intensives, she ends up taking to dance for an everyday outfit. But the last thing I would say about convention is I would always pack a black bra and a black legging because there are times your dancer will be chosen for a showcase dance and they will need to wear solid black. And we've been stuck before. So just bring it, keep it in the bag, and you want to take it to every convention for sure.
You see for convention classes, do you still see the bright colors? Like I know that was for a long time you'd see, really vibrant yellows and reds and, in that attempt to stand out in class and get, noticed. And you also see some elaborate hairstyles, braiding and things like that have happened. Where they're getting up really early in the morning and doing pretty elaborate hairstyles. Are you still seeing that happening?
I'm seeing the brights for sure in my dancer's room. I know it could differ by teen room. My daughter's in the junior room. Yeah, but they're mismatched. I think you're less apt to see them matchy-matchy, although it's still happening at conventions and it's still very cool and cute. I would say there's more mismatched colors happening at conventions. Some people will go cray-cray with the hair. We have before, but usually it's like such an early start that I'm just I put my dancer there.
Yeah.
And she has a ton of curly hair, so not always. I think in auditions, she likes to just kind of have a clean, low pony because she kind of stands out. Her dancing can stand out a little more that way is the thought. But I do see brights a lot more in conventions.
Interesting.
know,
So, yeah, go ahead, Casey.
what I noticed too is like watching the junior room and the youngers, it's like the matching sets and the brighter tones. And it's a lot more of the actual like dance brands. And then when you get to the teen and senior room, you're rarely seeing the dance brands. You're seeing like the larger athletic brands of like, Lulu and Aloe and that kind of stuff. It's like the more like catered toward just like athletic clothes.
Leisure wear, things like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's an interesting, and it's not that the other stuff isn't cute or that they don't have like it just tends to trend that direction as they get older.
Makes sense. So let's talk about the competition aspect. We've talked about class, we've talked about convention. Let's talk about competition. A lot of times you don't have a ton of control over what you're wearing on the stage, right? We know that, directors pick costumes, choreographers, things like that. On top of that, there's a lot of complications at these events with limited space to change. There's people everywhere. You don't know anything about these people. There's quick changes. What are your tips to kind of being age appropriate, family friendly at these competitive events where you don't have a ton of control over the environment? You still have to follow what's being asked of you. How do you have any semblance of control and what are they wearing to those events and in between dances and things like that?
I think for the costumes themselves, and then I'll speak about the actual like changing and whatnot separately, but for the costumes themselves, we have no say over it. But if you get a costume tailored to fit your dancer, if it's not custom or making sure that any adjustments, it's going to fit your kid. If the costume fits your child properly, you're not going to be worried. And that I think is the number one thing when you have issues with feeling like your kid isn't covered properly. A lot of that can be fixed with a proper fit. Going about it and saying like, "Hey, I need the straps higher because my child feels like nervous that this top is too low." That changes a whole lot of things. You can even go back and be like, "Hey, we need more fabric here. We need to cover this better." So, you can't change the costume, but you can change how the costume fits. And that's either something that you as the parent, if you've got just some basic tailoring. I said it before, my daughter has a very short torso. So all of her straps usually need to be adjusted. And we have custom made costumes. So they're made to fit her, but for her own comfort level, she usually likes it a little tighter on the strap. So I typically go back in and bring that strap down another like inch or two just to get it a little higher so she feels more confident and secure.
Yeah.
So I think tailoring is like the number one thing, and then proper undergarments. If your child is properly dressed in
Important.
underwear, then you feel a lot more confident. And there's a whole lot to talk about on that topic. We have friends even that do not show midriff, and some of our costumes have midriff. And so what they do is a bodysuit. So like a Skims or a like brand that you can get on Amazon. And for them, they're like, this is fine for us. They feel confident in that, and it helps. But I think with the quick changes and stuff, there's a lot of options for how to make that more
Comfortable tents. They look like soccer tents, like soccer walking tents, but they're like changing tents now that you can, which I love. I wish that they would have had that when I was a director, because it's really, you just have to post up and change and cover yourself however you think possible, but it's very frustrating. And they're all in the
bags have the curtain that you can, or you can even just add it with a blanket. And honestly, you can figure it out, but there's a lot of creative ways to make the changing space more conservative if you're worried about the location you've been put in for your changing.
And also there's things like butt glue. Like, I don't know if that's the technical term, but
that's how people know it. Yes.
Yeah, there's like the roll-on butt glue that actually like keeps the costume from riding up. There's all kinds of tape practicing methods to make sure that we're completely secure up here if there's a lot of straps and not a lot of room for, the brassiere to go on underneath it. Like there's all kinds of things, but it's really helpful to know what you guys do and what you're seeing out there, because some of it has changed a little bit since I've been doing this.
It's constantly changing. It's just making us like pay more each time.
Yeah. Our money is going.
I'm like, why you don't like biker shorts anymore? We just bought you Lululemon ones. Dang it.
No, biker shorts are out. Talk a little bit about, because when I was dancing, I feel like such an old fogey, because I keep saying back in my day.
I know, we're like those people now. Yeah,
we are those people. We are them. My director did not let us leave from backstage for the dressing without a cover up.
I also had that rule for my students.
We had custom cover ups with the studio name on them. They were like long. They went to the knee and they zipped up the front, so you could, you had to cover up in a custom cover up. That's not a thing anymore, apparently. What are your thoughts on it? I mean, and really when you're looking at it, you have these kids running around in costumes. It's twofold. One, don't spill any food.
I like that idea.
Don't tear, rip, whatever a costume. But then also, dance competitions are open to the public. So you're running around in something that wouldn't be normally everyday wear. It wouldn't necessarily be considered appropriate for everyday wear.
Let me tell you, I was really lax on this. Not really lax. I got a little bit lax on this rule towards the beginning of my career. And I ended up in a convention. It was a convention, and it was a hotel. And the lobby of this hotel, obviously open to the public, lots of events going on there. There was like corporate events going on. There was like a wedding going on. There was like all things scheduled during this dance competition over 3 days. And the ballrooms were right off on the ground floor of the lobby. There were all kinds of drunk people as these kids were running through from where the changing rooms were to the stage. Drunk people leering at these young kids. In my case, it was young women, young girls, making comments to them as they walked by. And that was it. I was like, get your jackets on. Don't let me see you out of this room without a jacket on. That's it. End of story. It felt really icky. Really icky. And then that rule lived ever since. So
I'm not
do you
mad at
get
it.
that?
We don't have a cover up, but now that you explain the reasons why, I think it's great. But I think in general, will change our dancers out of their costumes. I think we have a lot of dances, so they're frequently changing in and out of their next dance.
Yeah.
We are required as a team to have, they have team jackets on stage for awards, or if it's really warm, you just have to wear some sort of team gear, a t-shirt, a tank.
Yeah. Our
And
team
in
jacket
general,
is
black
like a
pant.
windbreaker. It's pretty light. And a lot of the kids originally, we need to get a new one, I think. They ordered them oversized so that it can go over a lot of the different costumes. And so, but it's not, we've not experienced anything like that. That, like, freaks me out hearing you tell that story.
We are at a hotel
lot.
more. Yeah, it happened many times over the course of my career, and we had that rule in place, but other people did not, and I witnessed so many times where these kids were just running through and just being gawked at and the dirty comments, and it's just disgusting. And you would think you shouldn't have to worry about that with grown adults, but you just do. I mean, it is, and it's uncomfortable. And for a kid, you don't know how to respond to that. You're not equipped, sure, prepared that you have to ever, but you definitely, like, they don't have the life experience to know even how to handle that. So it is definitely, like, I would recommend it for sure.
Our high school team has a cover up, but this is our first year and we haven't started like competition season yet, so I don't know that there are like requirements, but all the competitions are at high schools. But it's a giant Snuggie. Like the enormous
Fantastic.
furry fuzzy. Love that. It's embroidered on the back with the team. Everybody has their actual name, and they're super long and super warm because these competitions for the high school start
Free.
at dawn. Yeah, and it's in a gymnasium, so it's so cold. And I'm seeing these, and I'm like, I want one. I want to. So amazing. A lot of the high schools do.
Every once in a while, a team will like do something out of the box like that, creative, and it just takes off like wildfire. Like everyone will start having Snuggies pretty soon. You watch. Homework for our listeners, you guys. What do you challenge them to work on between now and next week?
We didn't really talk about this when we talked about making dancewear financially something easier for your family to invest in. So I'm going to suggest it with homework. You need to find a dancer that is smaller than your dancer, younger, and have a place to give your hand-me-downs because karma's going to work out. There's going to be an older dancer in your studio. You're going to set the tone, and they're going to pass down items to your dancer. And it just that there's so much more life in them when they grow out of them. And it's just such a great practice in a studio. We hand down all of our things to a younger dancer at the studio, and we accept hand-me-downs from a couple, including Casey's daughter. So I just think it's a great practice. Hand something down, share the wealth. It helps everyone.
Oh, I love that.
And it's
Casey,
really fun for the parents too. And like my dancer, whenever she sees Amira's daughter wearing something that she loved, she's always like, oh, like it's
Yeah,
a fun thing.
that's awesome. Casey, do you have anything, or is that dual homework?
I can't top that. That's fabulous, Sarah.
All right. Find a dancer, pay it forward, pass on all those fun little pieces that you've bought and accumulated for your dancer, pass it on, and it will come back to you tenfold. Are there any, well, you've just kind of shared some resources through the conversation, but any other additional resources you want to share on where to look for classwear for every style? Where do you guys look? I know you said social media was a big one, finding those those dancers that you admire, seeing what they're wearing, but how do you kind of get acclimated to the brands? Is there anywhere you go? What's your go-to to search for that classwear?
You want to
Hit up their websites. I think that's probably the best place. They're going to have their socials all listed. They're going to probably have images from social there. You can see how they styled it, and that can sort of start your journey. I think you can also see it on a body, which is really important, so it matches your dancer's body type. And that's just a good launching point. Look up some of the brands and their websites.
If there's studios that you like that you're kind of following, often they have brand affiliates. And sometimes you'll see when they're posting videos of their dancers dancing, it'll say DW, which is dancewear, and then they'll tag a company that they maybe favor.
You guys, I am not even kidding you. So we obviously run social media ads for Apolla all the time. There's this one ad. So we have this ballet, ballet dancer from overseas. She is in love with our stuff. She wears all of the Apollas. She posts about it all the time. She has these, and we've run ads using some of the videos that she's posted, and with her permission, of course. And she has this pair of pants on that is like the most unique, coolest pair of pants. She makes them. And I'm not kidding you. Like, our inbox is flooded still, months and months and months. Every day we get questions. Where can I get those pants? What are those pants? So, like, You never know. If you see something you like, reach out to the person that posted it, send them a message, ask. We respond. We're just like, you can get them here. Like, I mean, we help a sister out, So it really is so strange how that happens. But if you see it, ask. You never know. Somebody might tell you exactly where to find them. Talk a little bit, both of you, before we let you go today. What is going on with Two Dance Moms podcast? What can people expect this season? And how can people tune in and find you guys?
Well, we are in our third season, and it is a really, really fabulous start so far. We're really excited about it. Comp season hasn't even started, but there's a lot of really good information just to kind of get you ready because, as much as we're in our 7th year being dance parents, it still can sometimes be stressful. And, we're just really, really enjoying the process of talking about all the things that we're learning and even just sharing ridiculous stories of funny things that happen to us while we're out at different competitions and conventions. So we just love to invite everybody to come on in because it's relatable. So they can listen to the podcast. It does come weekly on Wednesdays into your inbox through Apple, iTunes, or through Spotify or wherever you find podcasts. It's pretty findable. So we invite everybody to listen. We also are doing some bonus episodes occasionally on Fridays, which is a new thing we're doing this season. So definitely want to be subscribed because occasionally you're going to see an extra episode in there that's going to be just for funsies, which we love. So
That's awesome, you guys. Congrats.
We've had you guys, and we had you on again this season. We have new stuff planned in the future, so you can hear more Bree and Melissa on that.
I love this show because you guys really you're able to share everything you learned. But like you said, Casey, you guys are also, it changes as your kids get older. Like what your experience changes and you're learning new things with it all the time. So I love that you guys are a place where you can go and you're honest and you're just straightforward and it's fun and it's funny and sometimes it's not funny and sometimes it's really just like we're in this together. But I love what you guys are doing with the show. Keep it up. Congratulations. I know how hard it is. So
we had somebody ask us recently. They were like, "So are you like pro dance moms now?" And we're like, "No. We're still muddling our way through it and we're just having a good time doing it." So
thank you both so much.
That's what matters. Thank you so much for watching today, everyone. Today's episode was Dance Attire Reach Style, How to Dress for Class. A special thank you to Amira Zimi and Casey Day of Two Dance Moms Podcast for joining us and having this conversation. Thank you for coming back, ladies.
Thank you so much for having us.
Join us next week for a brand new episode as we chat with Allie Christensen about the resistance bands and how effective they are. We hope you listen and join in the conversation. Until next time, we hope you continue your journey beyond the steps. See you next Friday.
Bye, y'all.